Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Some may actually refer to this as petty, and to be fair, this is pretty petty from WWE, but I think honestly, this is a reminder that you can do something relatively small, the WWE, and they can really do specific damage to one superstar. And what I mean by that is, if they can do this one specific damage to this specific superstar, imagine what they really can do to your entire infrastructure. I think AEW, I know what they're trying to do, but they might want to toe the line. Like, be very strategic as you move forward, going so far in this so-called war between WWE. That's not really a war, but apparently fans want to call it a war. Let me give you the lore real quick, just to kind of get you guys a little bit caught up to speed. I talked about this last week, and I'm pretty sure you guys know about it, but just to, again, give you context and give you further details in regards to this situation right here, check this out. Last week, news was reported that the Lucha Bros, Penta, and Rey Fenix were both going to be staying with AEW for a while longer, even though their contracts were technically expected to expire later this year, and strong answers from WWE. The drama started back in early summer when Penta told people that he was leaving AEW and headed to WWE, going so far as to say that he was already in contact with them, and that both he and Phoenix were going to be jumping ship and a package deal straight to the main roster. At that time, AEW had also offered the duo new competitive contracts, hoping to keep them around for multiple years. The brothers had chosen not to sign the new contracts, and around this time, AEW became aware that there had been contact with WWE. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that a few months of time had been added to Penta's deal, while up to a year had been tacked on to Phoenix's, and FIFOselect.com corroborates this report, saying that WWE was made aware earlier this year that the duo wouldn't be signing with them imminently. When AEW added time to Penta's deal, he immediately tried to do some damage control by publicly tweeting that his present was AEW, as he didn't want the promotion to also add time to Phoenix's agreement, as he was fully aware that due to various injuries and significant amount of time could be added. As it turns out, his tweet didn't help, and AEW went ahead and added the time. The FIFO report adds that it's not known if AEW plans to have the Lucha Bros appear on TV and put over talent, or if they are simply keeping them on the sidelines, but because they remain under contract, they are still being paid, or still going to be paid. It also is not clear what AEW's motivation was to extend the deals, though presumably the WWE interest in Penta acknowledging that talks had been taking place likely has something to do with that. In the case of contract tampering, FIFO noted that there is not much that can be done about that, as there is no quote-unquote law that prevents it from happening, but more of a quote-unquote rule in leagues. The only thing technically enforceable is interference with contracts that cause a breach, and that is what is mainly meant when reference contract tampering in the context of pro wrestling. So, essentially what you heard right there was AEW holding back Penta and Phoenix for no other reason than because it just looks bad optically. You don't want your competition taking more of your talent. I mean, what does that say about how you treat your talent if that talent is going over to another promotion? I quite frankly don't think that's a big deal, because I mean, it just happens all the time. In the normal world, if I don't like a job, I'm going to go to another job. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm an expert in that field, there's a good shot that I'm going to go to the competitive company, because I want to see what other opportunities lie ahead for me. I guess Tony Khan didn't see it that way, and he held back Phoenix and Penta on purpose, just so WWE couldn't have him. There was really no legitimate reasoning outside of that, which is his right. But I think WWE took a lot of great offense to that, because they responded back. Here, check this out real quick. And just to kind of give a little bit more context also, this is a whole situation revolving around Bryan Danielson's yes, yes, yes chant, right? Now, if you aren't aware, and honestly, I just started to remember this when I was reading the article earlier. From what I remember, when Bryan Danielson left in 2021, I'm not sure if WWE had legal rights over the trademark at that time. I'm going to presume that they did, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to say, because I remember something that Bryan Danielson was talking about. And I think he said that he made a promise to WWE that he wasn't going to do any of the Yes trademark stuff and AEW. You know what I mean? I'm still not too sure how that works out, but he promised them that he wasn't going to do any of the Yes stuff and AEW. That's what he said. And he has been doing it a lot lately. I do remember he wasn't doing it for a good minute. If I remember correctly, I don't remember him doing it at all for like maybe 2 years he was working there between 2021 to 2023. I just recently started seeing him doing the Yes stuff this year. The audience does it, obviously, but Danielson himself, no. But check this out. Has WWE filed a trademark, a phrase very closely, almost exclusively associated with a current AEW star? Yes, and yes. That is so corny. On Monday, September 30th, 2024, WWE filed with the United States Patent and Trademark Office to trademark the phrase, and I quote, yes. As noted, AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson, who is best known for the phrase as it was his primary catchphrase during his WWE run as Daniel Bryan, attempted to trademark the phrase on July 29th, only to receive a legal letter from WWE. Featured below is the official filing from the WWE with the trademark from September 30th for the Yes stuff. Clothing, namely tops, shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, hoodies, outerwear, namely coats, bottoms, pants, shorts, underwear, dresses, pajamas, lingerie, clothing ties, scarves, gloves, swimwear, Halloween and masquerade costumes, footwear, namely shoes, sneakers, slipper, flip-flops, boots, headwear, namely hats, caps, wristbands, bandanas, championship trophy, belts, entertainment services, namely wrestling exhibitions and performances by a professional wrestler and entertainer rendered and through broadcast media, including television and radio, and via internet or commercial online service, providing wrestling news and information via a global computer network, providing information in the fields of sports and entertainment via an online community portal, providing a website in the field of sports, entertainment information, fan club services, namely organizing sporting events in the field of wrestling for wrestling fan club members, organizing social entertainment events for entertainment purposes for wrestling fan club members, providing online newsletters in the fields of sports entertainment, online journals, namely blogs, in the field of sports entertainment. It's all the things that they listed off in regards to Bryan Danielson not being able to use the trademark yes stuff. Essentially hitting them with that old intellectual property. That's our stuff. You may have came up with it, but you came up with it under our banner. And I find it very conspicuous, the timing, right? Because I know people are going to be like, whoa, Devontae, they mailed out a letter. I mean, doesn't that seem kind of... Always remember how they timed the CM Punk letter when they fired him on his Wednesday. Trust me, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They know how to time that shit perfectly fine, bro. They did the same thing to Punk during the AJ Lee wedding shit. They knew what they were doing. They mailed that letter out to Bryan Danielson in regards to his trademark and the yes stuff. And mind you, Danielson was using it all this year with absolutely no problem. The trademark was up. He was going to go for it. It didn't even look like WWE even gave a shit about it. Obviously, they would have, trademarked it or, re-upped the trade or re-upped the copyright on the trademark. They would have done it like once it lapsed. They do it for everything else. Clearly, they didn't give a shit about the yes stuff. But I find it very conspicuous, the timing. Right when Tony Khan did that stuff with Rey Fenix and Penta, now all of a sudden Bryan Danielson can't use the yes trademark anymore. Come on, man. Obviously, that was a retaliation. If that's not a retaliation, the timing for that is ridiculous. That is some ridiculous signing. It just happened last week. And now all of a sudden, WWE is sending Bryan Danielson, hey, cease and desist. You can't do any of this stuff. This is our trademark. We already re-upped the copyright for it. When he was doing all the fucking yes stuff like earlier this year and you had no problem with it. He was filing for it for like a month or so right about now? 2 months, 3 months almost. And you didn't have anything to do with it? And now all of a sudden you care about it right when the Rey Fenix and Penta shit happened? It's all based off of petty shit. They knew exactly what they were doing. They said to AEW, okay, you knew damn well we wanted Rey Fenix and Penta. we were going to do something with that. And you went out of your way and you fucked us over. Mind you, I don't care. I think AEW did the right thing in the sense that, well, if Tony signed them to a contract and in the end of the day, they signed the contract, all parties agreed. You knew when you signed it what you were getting yourself into. All's fair in love and war, if you ask me. But to pretend as if WWE didn't see that as like, y'all motherfuckers knew goddamn well that we wanted them, and if it were anybody else, you would have let them go. They would have done whatever they wanted to do, but you decided to re-up them. Knowing good and down, I heard that they had merchandise prepared for their asses too. Just completely undercut the shit out of WWE. So WWE says, fuck it. All right, y'all want to pull this bullshit? We gonna try to one up you on the bullshit. See, y'all doing this with talent that we wanted, but it's not as if they would have made a difference per se. I mean, maybe we could have molded them to make a difference, but as of right now, it's not as if they're gonna make a difference. Whereas your guy's the world champion, and we own a bunch of IP that's related to that talent that he's currently using at the moment. You think you're gonna go around doing anything in regards to the yes stuff? No. That's ours, baby boy. So stop right there, pump the brakes, because if we can't have it, then no one can type of attitude. And I think, honestly, you look at something like this. See, this is the problem when you take a bunch of old WWE talent. You don't think they can hit Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné with something related to her if she were to go out of her way to even remotely use some IP that's related to the Sasha Banks character in WWE? Maybe not now, but who's to say that she wouldn't use something like that? Who's to say that she wouldn't do something? I mean, it's IP in the end of the day. Anything. I mean, again, they tried to get Razor Ramon on the same thing in WWE, and all he did was the mannerisms, right? If they find something that is related to their past characters that WWE currently owns at the moment, they can pop right up and sue the shit out of you if you infringe on that. Like, there's twofold. That's the problem with taking so much top level WWE talent that they previously had underneath contract when they made the name for themselves in that company, because sometimes they're gonna fall back on that kind of shit, especially if they're doing it as a way to harken back and try to bring in some of those older fans who might see them, for an example, and say to themselves, oh, I remember them doing that in WWE. That's when you kind of have those, you gotta tiptoe through the tulips there, my boy. But also, I think this is a bigger problem for AEW. You see, AEW doing what they did was really petty, but it's their right to be petty. But you're going up against the kings of petty. You ain't never gonna out petty WWE. It's just impossible. You're not gonna out petty them. And my thing is, if you are doing things like this and they are taking that as a retaliation, do you know what WWE can really do to you? Now, see, here's my thing. I think people are going to bring up, obviously, Tony Khan and his dad have more money, which is obvious. But at the same time, don't forget that WWE, well, actually, I can even say they have more money. No, they don't, actually. I mean, maybe they did at one point when they were a private company, or at least publicly, but, it was owned by Vince McMahon. But now that they're under TKO, no, they don't have more money. That's actually a lie. They don't. Not even remotely fucking close. But at the same time, though, so ignore that argument. Actually, now they're definitely fucked. The market in regards to WWE, if WWE, for an example, they can get really petty. You see, it's almost like a situation where it's like you have a small country and a big... People are going to be like, Devontae, you're breaking too many politics. But I'm being honest right now. I'm just being honest, man. Say whatever you want, man. You see the situation right now with Iran and fucking Israel right now, man. I mean, you keep poking the bear when they fucking unleash, for real, your ass is grass now. I'm just saying, man. Same thing with WWE. You don't think WWE, if they really wanted to be petty, if they really wanted to be bitches about this, they could have easily put AEW out of business by now. Y'all know this, right? If WWE wanted to go into every fucking market AEW was in and just usurp everything in regards to their attendance, if they wanted to be super petty and put pay-per-views on the exact same night as AEW, they would have done it by now. If they really wanted to be petty, that Netflix deal that they had, you don't think they could have pushed that Netflix deal onto Wednesday? Huh? They can do this kind of things if they really, really want to. Again, they can be super petty and they can really fuck over AEW anytime they really want to. I think people really forget this. I mean, you have in your mind all the time, oh, AEW this, AEW that. They're only allowed to battle WWE because WWE allows it. People are like, oh, you're being a WWE fanboy. It's the truth. Financially speaking, actually almost twice financially speaking, right? And then when you go off of just numbers, man, their numbers are nowhere near close to WWE. It's not even fair. If WWE really wanted to do damage, they could. This is all toying with them, bro. This is all nothing more than just trying to keep some type of good fare with fans. Because I think in the back of WWE's mind, they don't want to be seen as the heels in all this, right? You go out of your way and you really have WWE put their full force on AEW. Do you see the talent that WWE has? If you don't think to yourself, I'll paint on an example for you. If you don't think WWE couldn't potentially put Raw on Wednesday nights and take Cody, Punk, Roman, Drew, Rhea, all of them, the whole bloodline, Jey Uso, put them all on one show and just feature them throughout the night. And then do it on Wednesdays in a 2-hour format, going head to head with AEW. They'd be out of business in like a year. You don't think WWE can do that? They choose not to do that. If they did, they could easily destroy them if they want to right now. But they know if they do that, how that's going to be perceived. They know how that's going to make them look. If they were to do that, they're going to be the heels in all this. And honestly, it's going to probably be some repercussions for WWE if AEW were to go out of business for them doing that, because it's almost going to be seen as bullying. Which, to be quite frank, it kind of would be that way. I mean, it's all business in the end of the day, but I mean, technically speaking, you know what you're capable of doing and you did it. You knew what you were capable of doing, you did it anyways. But it's just a reminder, bro. They can be just as petty, and their pettiness will always triumph over you 3 or 4 times higher than what your pettiness is right now. I mean, they usurped you in the pettiness just by simply saying that you're top guy. You went out of your way to say you can't have our tag team that they were probably going to use in the lower card on NXT, or maybe in the lower card, that they really don't need Penta and Phoenix. They just want them. And you try to be petty with them, and all they had to do was like, okay, you want to be petty with that? Fine. You're a top star. You're a world champion. We're going to fuck him over because we can. And you have a bunch of top talent that we can fuck over because we can. I'm just saying, man, for you AEW fans and for AEW and themselves, tread lightly, man. Tread lightly. You don't want WWE to respond to you. You just simply don't want that. The minute you do that, it's you better ask WCW. Oh wait, you can't. You better ask ECW. Oh wait, you can't. Better ask Jim Crockett Promotions. Oh wait, you can't. You better ask the AWA. Oh wait, you can't. Just tread lightly, AEW, man. Don't be a bitch. But at the same time, man, this ain't David and Goliath, okay? This ain't David and Goliath. That story ain't gonna play out to you. Ain't gonna play in favor of you if you keep that up. Just do what you can, but don't do too much. That's all I'm saying. They take that as retaliation. That's your ass, Mr. Postman. But as always, my name is Devontae. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you feel about this entire situation. And at the end of the day, I will say it does suck because, I mean, they are using the actual talent and all this, I mean, they're going tit for tat, right? But in reality, it's the talent who's actually hurting in the end of the day, right? In reality, Rey Fenix and Penta are the ones that are hurting. In reality, Bryan Danielson, he's the one that's being hurt by this. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Danielson couldn't give a shit. But at the same time, it still doesn't take away from the fact that it is hurting him. And it still doesn't create, it's not as if it wouldn't create an incentive that this can happen in the future. And, something else might happen that can hurt a talent that's lower than Bryan Danielson, right? Like Rey and Penta right now. Them not going to WWE, that's hurting them because they want to go and they can't. Just saying, keep that in mind too. But that's just my thoughts. I'll be back later on tonight for the NXT show. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. La deuces and a P eyes.